All right, move that out of the way. All right, so now we're going to talk today about critical illness and the sales track that we have pulled together. The overarching idea of this thing is that we are working to bridge this gap. This is one of many new protection strategies for the changing healthcare environment that we're all operating in. So now, keep in mind, it's not a script. It's designed to be a track. It's designed to keep you moving forward. Okay, again, as I noted, the reality is changing with regard to the healthcare situation. Adequate planning is more than just health insurance now. Health insurance is not enough. There are many things that health insurance was never intended to pay that you have to deal with. Okay, some key concepts for the track. Okay, the idea that occurrence, this is incidence, the occurrence of a diagnosis is much more common. It's becoming more so because of the advances in modern medicine. It enables them to detect, diagnose, and cure illness and disease much earlier and with much greater frequency than they've ever been able to before. What were life insurance claims in the 90s are now critical illness claims in this day and age because of this. Randomness. Illness and disease happens to people, and it happens to those that we least expect it'll happen to, and that could include you. Think about this for a second, and we'll talk more as we move through the presentation. But one of the key questions, who do you know who has had to deal with a critical illness, cancer, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, any of those types of things? If you really start to think about it within your close circle, most folks raise their hand when we ask that question. Okay? As you move through this process, you're going to want to secure 3 key agreements along the way to be successful. Number one, critical illness happens a lot, and it could happen to them or a very close family member. Right now, they are self-insuring the risk. The healthcare planning that they have in place is incomplete without critical illness, and we'll show why here in a few minutes. And the best part is there is an affordable solution for this, and that's what we're going to guide them towards during the course of this conversation. So, what is critical illness? Well, critical illness is one of a number of literally critical life-threatening situations that your clients may find themselves in. Cancer, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, bypass surgery, coma, paralysis. These things are all significant life-altering events, and the financial aftermath of them, coupled with survival, can be significant. As we noted before, the odds of surviving a life-altering critical condition are better now than they ever have been. The advances in medical technology have been great, but they have left us with these situations where we have what we call survival with consequences. Incidence rates on the big 4 of critical illness, as you can see, happening pretty routinely. During the course of the couple minutes or so that we have been on this webinar now here, about 3 minutes or so, it's a situation where 9 people have been diagnosed with cancer, another 9 people have had a coronary event, 6 people have had a stroke, and 3 have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and that cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. Again, as I noted before, key question, who do you know? All right, myself personally, lost a brother-in-law to lung cancer in 2008. My mother-in-law had a lobe removed from her lung in 2010. Have another brother-in-law who is battling pancreatic cancer currently. So I understand very well that it can get much closer to you than you first envisioned, but when you really stop to think, it is more prevalent than any of us want to believe. Okay. The new healthcare reality that we talked about at the beginning is putting greater responsibility, financial responsibility, on the insured. As you can see on the left, the things that are going up are things like costs and survival rates, along with premiums and deductibles. The things that are going down are the benefits and length of covered stay. So what is happening is you are paying more for less coverage. and that's not going to change anytime soon. The Affordable Care Act is ensuring that there will be a continuation of paying more for less coverage as we move through. Things that are covered under the new healthcare reality: prescriptions, doctor visits, hospital stays. What's not covered? Well, just about everything else. One of the big pieces of a catastrophic health event like cancer or a stroke, loss of income from not being able to go to work, okay? You might have out-of-network costs. Good friend, his wife was treated for breast cancer, and the best surgeon available for them to handle the task was an out-of-network doctor. That was a $10,000 out-of-pocket cost for them. Experimental treatment. My boss, our general manager here, his brother battled pancreatic cancer. He made 2 trips to Europe seeking out experimental treatment that was not approved in this country. They call it medical tourism now. Okay, those are becoming more and more prevalent. If you had one of these situations and someone told you that your best chance to find a cure was to go abroad, I don't think for a second you would hesitate, or you certainly would not want to have to hesitate. You would want to do what you need to do to try to save your life. Okay? So the big things: loss of income, out-of-network costs, experimental treatment, those things, huge. Tied with loss of income, obviously, mortgage payments, household bills, et cetera, those continue to keep coming at you. You're going to have to deal with them. In some cases, those costs can become too much. More than half the bankruptcies in the country are caused by excess medical expenses, and about 80% of those people had health insurance. That's a pretty scary thought. Almost $1,300 is the average out-of-pocket expense a cancer patient pays after their health insurance. So if your client is diagnosed with critical illness, where's the money going to come from? Okay, the salary may or may not stop depending on what their situation is with regard to disability income. Okay, but they're going to look at IRAs, savings, 401ks, et cetera. They got to find a way to pay for all these different things. Okay, critical illness insurance, which is the hub of what we're talking about here, that pays cash benefits on diagnosis. The nice part about cash benefits is they can be used for anything. All right, doesn't matter what it is. There's no restriction. There's no requirement for paperwork, any of those types of things. Your client is diagnosed, they begin receiving benefits. If they have a lump sum policy, they're going to get the lump sum payment. If they have the critical care product from Guarantee Trust Life, they're going to begin receiving that monthly benefit and will continue to do so for the benefit period specified in the contract. And the nice part is we've got affordable options for every budget. Even if the clients are not healthy, in many, many cases they are able to qualify. Okay? You got benefit amounts ranging from $500 a month all the way up to $3,000, and benefit periods on the GTL product from 6 months all the way up to 24 months. Okay? Now, content that allows you to reinforce the sales efforts. We have a ton of customized content that's available. You can go to aimproducer.com, AIMPRODUCER.com. All right, you can go out there. We've got a lot of stuff that you can customize specific to critical illness. We've got the little cards that you see here that you could leave in a doctor's office. Great place to leave is the office of your primary care physician or a specialist that you're currently working with for whatever reason. The brochure or the booklet here, you can get those customized with your name and contact information on the back of them. A great giveaway to clients to be able to start the conversation with them, to get them to understand what it takes financially to be able to survive a critical illness. Also, we've created CIJumpstart.com. That's a resource for you to go out to, gives you a nice introduction to what critical illness is all about, a guide, requirements to sell, an action plan, marketing resources. All of this stuff is all available for you out there on that website. It's part of our commitment to making this additional solution available to both you and your clients. And it says at the top, contract today. You can reach out to us if you're not already appointed with one of our critical illness carriers. You can reach out to us at the conclusion of the call, and we will start that process. The great thing about critical illness is that it is the perfect complement and supplement to whatever else you are doing, whether it be long-term care, Medicare Sup, and I'll explain why in just a second. Long-term care, Medicare Sup, if you're working in some of the other, I'm going to call them ancillary areas, if you're doing work with final expense, et cetera, this is perfect. Okay, now, why is it perfect? All right, I had a colleague that just retired here at AIM about a month and a half ago. All right, the previous 2 years, this gentleman had been battling pancreatic cancer. He was going to Seattle to take part in an experimental treatment protocol every week on Monday. Okay, and then he would come back and work for the rest of the week. Now, we're fortunate we have very good health insurance here, and we're also fortunate that we have a great long-term care program as well. All right, but we hadn't really gotten into CI when he was diagnosed back at the end of 2011. So all of the costs driving over to Seattle, the gas, the mileage, meals, loss of time from work, et cetera, all of the ancillary things, the survivability things with consequence, those were all out-of-pocket expenses for this gentleman. Okay, imagine what a $2,000 a month critical illness policy that was paying a benefit for 24 months would have meant in that situation. A ton. And the reason I said it's the perfect complement and supplement to whatever you're doing is that the circumstances would not be any different if he was 58 years old, 5'8", 58. Okay, if he were 68 and on Medicare Sup or on a Medicare Advantage, the circumstances would not have been any different. He would have still been facing all of those additional expenses that aren't covered by, you know, the primary health plan. He wouldn't have had loss of time from work in all likelihood, but the gas, the meals, the mileage, all those types of things, wear and tear on vehicles, those are all a part of the process, and it wouldn't matter, again, whether you're 58 or 68. It's an exposure that your clients are facing. We hear all the time from agents that they need leads, they need leads, they need leads. Well, if you pick up the phone or take one of the letters or, you know, that we have available as a mailer or an email, whatever, if you start the process of contacting your client base now and beginning the conversation about critical illness, what you have done is taken a hypothetical 250 clients and turned them into 250 leads. And they're not cold leads by any stretch of the imagination because you have a relationship with them. They are warm, bordering on hot leads. These folks know you. They trust you. They're going to listen to what it is that you have to say. Okay? Goes without saying, I think, that we want to help you succeed in this exciting and emerging market. Call us with questions if you need material, whatever it is. So with that, going to go ahead and unmute folks so that we can begin taking questions. And if you have background noise going on, please hit *6 on your phone to mute it so that we don't have, it was either a sink running or a toilet flushing on a webinar recently. That was a little bit interesting, to say the least. But if you do have background noise, please go ahead and self-mute yourself with a *6. So that said, let's go ahead and open up for questions. Go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes.
I have a question for you. What happens if somebody is diagnosed with, say, a stroke multiple times?
Okay.
So
It would depend on the time frame, but no, it doesn't double or triple. Okay. If they have a stroke in February, okay, they go on claim in February and begin receiving their benefit. If they have a second stroke in March, they don't double the benefit. They are already on claim. You can only be on claim for one event at a time. Okay? And that's not going to change whether you're on a lump sum plan or a monthly benefit plan. If you're on a lump sum plan and you had a stroke, you would get the lump sum benefit. Boom, done. Okay, if you're on a monthly plan, you start getting the monthly benefit, and that continues for the specified benefit period. Okay?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You bet. Other questions? I know there's some out there. Bonnie, I know you've done some, you're out there, and I know you've done some work trying to get in front of folks and to market with this. How are you finding the reception to initiating the conversation?
Well, as you know, yesterday I did can you hear me first?
Yeah, we can hear you good. Thank you.
Okay. As you know, yesterday I did a presentation to a group here in Spokane. There was 53 individuals. I invited them to leave their emails with me so that I can have them, so that then I can follow up with them and download they could download that, the Surviving Critical Illness Financially ebook. And it was great. Lots and lots of questions. Lots and lots of interest, lots of people saying, well, is this like long-term care? And so it was a great first time with 50 people in the room to do the PowerPoint and interview.
How did the opportunity come up for you to get in front of that group of people?
I asked the gal who is the leader of the group. These are all people that are around 65 years old, and they basically get together at a restaurant once a month for lunch and have some kind of speaker. And I told her that I would love to be able to present this to them, and she'd never heard of critical illness, and I've been invited back in June.
Outstanding. Two key words. She asked. Okay. There are service groups out there. I know because I have been involved in Rotary myself personally in the past. There are service groups out there, Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions Clubs, etc. They are all looking for, I call it content for their meetings. They are looking for people to come up and share information with them. If you are involved in one of those organizations, get yourself on the agenda. If you have a friend who's involved with one of them, get them to invite you in for lunch and to talk to these professionals. These are all very well connected professional individuals. This is a huge, huge opportunity, and I can assure you that you have less than a 1% chance of running into a situation where any number of a group of 50 or 75 people that might be in a room, that any number at all of them have heard anything about critical illness. You are going to be the introductory point there, and doing what Bonnie said and getting those emails, collecting business cards. What you've done there is generated an opportunity for yourself to have a more substantive conversation with a lot of people, okay? If you have client email addresses, send out an email and say, look, I've expanded what I'm doing in my practice. I'm now developing a specialty in the area of critical illness, and I would like to talk with you about this exposure. Believe me, your clients do not know, they are not aware that they have this exposure. So thank you for that, Bonnie. Anybody else out there with questions? Jensen, are you still out there?
Yes, I have another question for you, just brought up by Bonnie's comment.
Okay.
Is there a group policy available?
There are worksite opportunities available, but believe me when I tell you, you are getting into a giant swamp if you try to get into worksite critical illness. You are far better to work on an individual basis. We can help you with it if you really want, but it's going to get really complicated, and you're positioning yourself having to deal with gatekeepers. You're much better off to work on a one-on-one basis and then to try to convince the human resources person at a particular company to give you the time to talk about it. And they will give you the time because that's their job every day, is to validate their job. But what they're not going to do in all likelihood is let you get past them and get to the decision maker, because that in most cases is not what they do. They are not that decision maker. Okay? But the opportunity's there, but you're going to have more success more quickly if you just work in the individual market.
Well,
Okay.
the reason I asked is mainly you mentioned Rotary. I'm a Rotary member,
Okay.
and we do have business owners in our club and clubs, and so we may already have access to the decision maker.
Sure.
And if the
Well,
decision maker,
well, and that's good. What state are you in?
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you get that opportunity, yes, we will do everything we can to make it work for you. But all I'm suggesting is that you proceed with great caution, because you get a whole other set of parameters in front of you that you have to adhere to, rather than just having that conversation directly. So,
Okay. Can it
Good.
be set up, for instance, where instead of doing it on a group basis, just asking the owner if I can meet with the employees and make a presentation to them individually, as opposed to trying to get it as a company benefit?
Well, you might be able to bridge the middle. See if he'll pay $25 a month towards it as a company benefit, and then sit down with everybody that you know and talk about it and say, hey, look, he's kicking in $25 a month. Let's see if we can put a plan together. It's a win-win, you know, for everybody. It's just and then you sort of express track it. That's not generally how it happens, but if you can make it work that way, that's good. And of course, we can work with it. So good feedback. Any other questions? All right, Jensen, are you out there?
Yes.
I know you've done some work. You've done some fishing in this pond. What are you finding out there?
Well, I'm finding that people are receptive to it because it's much more reasonably priced than long-term care insurance. But it's still, Mike, what you emphasized on your key agreements, it's still based on need and whether people can afford it. If they can't afford it, and like the county north to me, Okanagan County, I mean, that's the poorest county in the state. So
Right.
It's difficult to get sales when people's income are so low that they can, you know, barely live month to month, you know, month to month, let alone try and budget for care and care insurance.
Absolutely. That is one of the difficulties, no question about that. It is a bit of a regional situation, but you know, you keep plugging, you'll run into folks. The other thing to remember, too, with the Guaranteed Trust product is you've got the ability to set folks up with a $1,000 benefit for 12 months. Doesn't seem like much, but trust me, $12,000 will make a difference, okay? And that's really, really inexpensive. If you look at the rate sheets, for a 40-year-old, you're probably talking less than $20 a month. It can be done in such a way you can make a meaningful benefit available to them for a price that'll work for them. The biggest thing is to get them to understand it can happen to them. Then that helps make the buying decision easier. The second piece of making the buying decision easier is is be very aware of where they might be financially, so that when you start the conversation with them, you start it at a price point that doesn't blow them off their chair. Good feedback, Sean. Appreciate that. All right, any other questions here this morning? Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Appreciate everybody's time. If you need anything, give us a call here. You got the number right in front of you, 800-672-7202. If you want to circle back and listen to any part of the presentation again, it will be archived and posted on our website. Should have that done by noon today, and you'll be able to access it. Keep your eyes and ears open. We've got more webinars coming up next week. We've got a webinar on the Mutual of Omaha long-term care product, and we've also got a webinar on social media and how to use social media to advance what you're doing with your business. So keep those things in mind. You'll get the newsletter later today that'll have the latest information across all the different spaces that we work in. So with that, we're going to go ahead and shut things down. Thanks, everybody. Again, appreciate your time, and we're always here to help. Just call us anytime you need help. Thanks. Bye now.